attention to your body movements is very, very important. The best way to see all your mistakes is to video yourself.
Yes.
Really
I've
is.
started doing that.
Telling you makes a huge difference. You hear how many times you say a command, you hear whether you said the command correctly, you hear just all the what other words are you using that this dog's not understanding, you know, like, yeah, it's been so I've been videotaping myself when I am making Wasabi wait for his dinner or breakfast or whatever. So I have him for breakfast, Laura has him for lunch, and then I have him for dinner. So and I've been just doing little snippets because I'm hoping to share it in the next training that we do on Zoom, just so you can see like the progression. But I'm listening to myself and I'm having to remember just to say sit and then give him time to respond because he's still a puppy, and then wait and not say wait 10 times. So it's getting better, but yeah, just recording yourself is very helpful.
Our own behavior. I've been rereading a book. So I'd highly recommend anybody to read, because that's exactly what it talks about, is our behavior around our dogs and how it confuses them. It's called The Other End of the Leash.
Yep, I got it. I just wrote it down.
Patricia B. McConnell.
By who? Who's the author?
Patricia B. McConnell.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She's another. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's very readable. She has amusing little anecdotes in it, but it's chock full of information on how dogs try their hardest to let us know, you know, what they're thinking about, try to figure out what we're thinking about, and how we confuse them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Really, I found all kinds of good tips in there for different kinds of training things, and more of it's to train me than the dog. Make it easier on the dog.
Yeah, Patricia Connell also does a lot of writing for Whole Dog Journal, which is an excellent magazine if anybody wants to buy any kind of a dog magazine.
What is it?
Sorry, what was the name of the magazine?
It's called Whole Dog Journal.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
whole.
She's one of the ones. She's one of the. She's a worldly renowned trainer, similar to like Jean Donaldson. Yeah, she's got lots of good books out there.
Somebody has a question. Yeah, I'm going to post the name of the book. Yes. The question is, when should dogs be in vest and when do we take it off? So I'm going to tell you what I do, and then if somebody else has a different thing that they do, they can share that. So when we go out to anywhere in public, grocery store, movie theater, theme park, anywhere that they're going to be seen, they put the vest on. Now, I don't put the vest on until we get ready to exit the car, but they know. I mean, we get dressed and then I will take it off when we go back to the vehicle. I will have them take it off and they get in the car without the vest on. Partially that's because I usually have another dog in the vehicle and I don't want them like chewing on it or messing with it. And right now, because I have a puppy, so I will take the vest off them and hang it up. And so that's, vest goes on when we go out, vest comes off when we get back to the vehicle. And then if we're stopping somewhere else, then obviously the vest goes back on. That's what I do. Anybody else?
Well, I would say that pretty much the vest is to identify public that it's a working dog, leave it alone. So yeah, if you're ever out in public, have it on. I mean, for your own personal, you don't need it if you're not at home.
No, and if they're playing, if they're out in the backyard, I mean, if they're just being a dog. Now, we have suggested a couple of dogs, if they're having an issue, like when you go for a walk, then put the vest on them, because most of our dogs realize that when they're in the vest, that's working time. And so if you're struggling with walking with them, you may want to put the vest on, but it's not a necessity. Like if you can go for a walk and your dog is good, you don't need the vest just to go for a walk. So,
and I guess, go ahead. Well, I mean, if you have a dog that you're desensitizing to a vest, then probably want to have it on him as much as possible, so that the dog is, can adjust to it.
Yep, yep. And the first few times the puppy, well, I'll put the vest on the puppy in the house. Once they graduate to a bigger vest, he doesn't seem to be bothered by the little bandana. But so yeah, does that answer your question, Brant? Oh, Brant is here, but he's not saying anything. Okay.
He's on mute.
Let's see.
He's on mute and mute video.
Yeah, I know. He'd have to unmute himself. Okay. Other questions?
I have a question.
Okay. All right, Rochelle.
Hi. Okay, so Bravo has this thing. I work from home and I close my office door. So when I'm on the phone, my child who's in virtual school isn't disturbed. And Bravo like flips out when a door is closed. Like he scratches at the door, he cries at the door. So I bought a gate and I put it in my hallway and he's fine, even if he's just right outside the room. But anytime he's in a room with a closed door, like eventually he gets to this part where he's just scratching at it and barking at it and trying to get out. And I keep telling him, leave it, but he doesn't want to leave it.
Is there any reason he can't come in and sit under your desk?
I have a footrest under my desk and he tries sometimes. He doesn't love it. Sometimes he goes under my desk. Sometimes he curls up next to my desk, but he'll bark at the door. He'll scratch at the door. And I'm like, I'm on a call for work, Bravo. You have to, I tell him quiet. And then I eventually have to tell him no, because he keeps scratching at the door. So I'm not really sure what to do.
Now, is this when he's in the room with you?
Yes. He barks when he's in the room with me. He scratches at the door when he's in the room with me.
Oh, because he wants to go out.
Yeah, just because the door's closed. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
So can you put him on a leash and
yep.
so that he's right next to you and he doesn't have the opportunity to scratch at the door?
I
You
have
could hold-
done that too. And then he'll eventually settle down, but I don't want to have to keep him leashed. I have a problem with him and my other dog, and I don't want to keep him leashed 24/7. I want to give him some space to at least be
Right.
a dog. So I let
But you
him in the
have to-
room. It's not a huge room.
You have to do it consistently for a certain amount of time and he'll get it. You
Yeah.
can't do it once and expect him to get it. You're going to have to do it for a couple of weeks until he
Okay.
realizes that that's a safe space for him. It's okay just to sit down and relax if he wants to be with you.
And remember, when he does sit down and relax, reward that. Let him know he did the right thing.
Yep.
He's
But
in a
yeah,
room with a
keep a
closed
leash.
door with me.
Keep a leash on him. And like Wendy said, it could be for a couple of weeks. I have clients where their puppies walk around the house with a leash on constantly because
Yep.
if you have to grab it, or whatever, leash him and tie him to a point where he can't get to the door to scratch. And if all else fails, throw him in a crate in the room
Mhm.
and give him something to chew on. Give him a
I've done
bone.
that too. So sometimes I brought his crate in if I knew I was on a call and I really couldn't, I have to talk. Sometimes I'm just listening and I can be on mute and it's fine. But sometimes when I have to talk a lot, but I put the kennel in the room, but I'll try just keeping him on a leash all the time and try to keep him next to me. He gets really restless. He
It's
doesn't
gonna
like,
take a little bit because
Yeah.
you don't know where he was before and what he was trained, like what, so you're gonna this is a new circumstance for him. You just got him a week ago? 2 weeks
oh,
ago?
I've had him over 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been
Over
close
3
to a
weeks?
month
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's almost a month. Yeah,
Wow.
it's going on a month. But he's come to work with me every single day. And, but that door is just, and it's my bedroom door. Anytime I have a door closed, he'll scratch at a closet door. He'll scratch at the linen closet door. Every door he tries to
He's
scratch.
just
And
bored. He's
Yeah.
bored.
Mhm.
I give him like a Nylabone but he's, I guess he's bored. I have to work 8 hours and he's bored sitting there with me.
Well, one of the things I would recommend is for anybody who just is looking for something, I think we've talked about this in past meetings, is looking for those different puzzles that the dog has, kind of keeps them busy, or a toy where they have to roll it, and just something that kind of keeps them busy for a little bit. So you put some of the puzzles, you actually put treats in different compartments, and the dog has to really work at getting it. So he might be willing to sit outside your door if you had it open with a gate with a toy, or something that kind of kept him busy. Just a suggestion. That's for anybody who's looking for their puppy to use their brain.
Yeah, he barks if he's not when he's not with me, he'll bark too. If he's separated from me and he can't get to me, he'll just bark and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he spent a lot of time in prison, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he'd
so,
only been out for maybe a couple of weeks, Libby, before you guys had him and I picked him up at the ranch.
yeah.
So he's just, I mean, he's used to the routine. He has no problem with it. I put a gate in my hallway, Libby, where the kennel used to be. And so I've been letting him like have that hallway too. So he settles down. I think it's just something with the closed door that agitates him.
Probably a visual if he can't see you
Yeah,
or hear you or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
You know, and like in prisons, there aren't any doors closed, so.
Right.
No, even
uh,
when I'm on the other side of the gate, he flips.
Yeah, Quinn is 4, almost 4.5, and she does the same. She doesn't scratch at the door unless she thinks she can push it open. But she will stand outside the door and cry and whine. She doesn't bark, just like, "Hello, somebody let me in," you know. And that's and she's 4, so
He wants to get out. He's the opposite.
that's too funny. And he
Yeah.
doesn't do it to come in.
No,
So you
he
can put
doesn't
him
do it to
outside-
come in.
You can
So
put him
I
outside.
leave my
the
door open. I leave my door open to the office and it's like an L-shaped hallway. And
Mhm.
even if he can't see me, he's fine. If I go on the other side of the gate into the main part of my house and he's in the hallway, all he does is bark and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark. If I'm in the office with the door closed and he's in the room with me, he scratches at the door and barks at the door. I don't know what it is.
He just wants to be able to wander wherever he wants to go.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Put him on a leash and restrict his space. And
Okay.
when he does settle down, reward that.
Okay.
You know, he'll start figuring out, okay, when I settle down, I get a reward.
Does he get upset like this pretty much when you're on the phone or just anytime?
Anytime.
Anytime, okay.
He's just very random with it. Like what he'll be laying down and the next thing he pops up and scratches at the door. And it's not like he can hear my dog or see my dog because they're actually separated in the house because they don't get along very well. So they're separated from each other. And so it's not like he can hear my dog or see my dog. And now I have to tell him, Bravo, off. He decided to climb to look out the window. Bravo, yes. He's a toddler.
He's a work in progress.
So
He is. He's like, what furniture?
How's the shadow come? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
last time Wendy and I
Bravo
were really
off.
convicted.
Shadow?
when we were talking about how dogs greet at the door. Because when I come to Wendy's house, the dogs are like, oh, hey. And when she comes in the afternoon, the dogs are, oh, it's Wendy. So we've really been working over the last, however long it's been since our last Q&A, to have the dogs calm before they get greeted.
Yeah.
And today, one of them was a gentleman.
Yes, he was.
The other one was a complete heathen. And
Actually,
I
no.
had to get the
Once you
leash.
leashed him, he was way better.
right,
Yep.
but we had to pull a leash out and put a leash on him. And as soon as he was leashed, he stood there by me. And then he was able to greet Wendy. But it has made an enormous difference in how the dogs are greeting. So don't give it up.
Right.
Know that there is hope.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Other questions?
I have a question about Fiji. She's 12 weeks now. And for some reason, she'll like wander around in the grass by our apartment. But when it comes to walking, she just sits. I've tried treats. I know, Wendy, we talked about this. She'll walk for a little bit and then she'll just sit and wait for the treats to come to her. And that's not going to happen. So I'm kind of out of ways to get her to start walking and not like just sit down.
When do you walk her?
So I try to walk her throughout the day. I try different times. Since I work from home, I kind of just, whenever she has to go to the bathroom, every now and then, like every few hours, we'll go downstairs and we'll try to walk. And she just does not care for walking. She'll come upstairs. She runs back upstairs and then just starts like running around the apartment. I try to take her to the dog park by herself and she just eats bark. But she's not, I don't know. I don't know what to do with her.
So do you ever walk with like a treat by your side where she can see it, but she doesn't get it?
Well, she gets it. She sees the treat, then she'll start pulling. Like she'll be like, no, I don't want to walk. I want to go back upstairs. And I'm like, why do you want to
Gotcha.
be inside all day?
Because it's cool.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, today even I was like, it's cooler outside. Maybe she'll want to try, but no, not a fan.
Is it pavement? I mean, is it possible the pavement is hot and she's not liking it or something, or?
I mean, there's grass along the side, so she could walk either way. She'll walk for a little bit. Like she'll do like, I mean, like from
How-
here to the next building, which
How
is
old,
like,
is this a puppy?
Yes,
yeah,
12
she's
weeks.
a puppy.
Oh, okay. She's probably still adjusting to leash and collar and doesn't know what to do. So she just is sitting and stopping because she's like, or just confused with the whole outside environment,
Okay.
you know. Maybe start with just walking her around the house and, about the front door and go down a couple hundred yards and come back, or can you
Yeah.
get that far?
Well, she does that. I live on the 3rd floor, and so she's easily like going up and down the stairs. And then a lot of times like I'll pick her up because I don't want her overworking herself, but she knows how to walk on a leash. She just doesn't want to. So I don't know how to encourage her to want to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for a dog to just stop like that, there's something, either it's confused or there's a reason why. I mean, it's just not a dog's nature to want to stop like that.
Right.
They're-
Yeah,
especially
and
puppies are
I-
curious, I mean,
and I watch dogs too, and sometimes when there's another dog with me, she'll follow, but eventually she'll do the same thing. She'll sit and she'll be like, I want to go home. So I don't get it, but
Maybe we should meet, and I have Wasabi who's about the same age.
yeah.
He's a puppy. He's a good walker. He
Yeah.
doesn't, Laura said, I noticed he doesn't like the sunshine. That's true. He's a shade seeker, but he will
Yeah.
walk. So I walk in the morning at 6:15. And then usually we wait until it's later at night and he'll walk. I mean, he's walking. Hey, shh,
Yeah, attach,
with no problem. So
attach the one that's stopping to Wasabi, and then when another dog is forcing her to walk, she'll comply a little
yeah,
more.
yep.
that would be, I think would be really good for her. Because right now she's just stuck in this routine of we go outside to pee and then we come upstairs to play. And I don't know how to get
Interesting.
her out of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And he's real good at it. Could be because he's got other big dogs.
Right.
He's followed the big dogs.
Have
Yeah.
you put a toy into do you bring a toy that might motivate her to kind of keep walking, or?
I haven't tried the toy yet. I've tried treats and she'll follow for a little bit and then she'll stop. But
How about a
I
squeaky
can
toy?
try, yeah, I can try a squeaky toy.
Squeaky toy might work.
I'll try that.
They seem to be motivated by them sometimes.
Yeah. I'll try that and see.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, Wendy.
But yeah, we'll have to get together because they're a perfect age. I see Laura asked, should we bring anything to the training on Saturday? So I would bring your water for you and your dog water. And anything you need, maybe a hat. Libby and I did talk about doing part of the training at the facility and then also trying to get to a mall and do some training in there. So I don't think we're going to be outside the entire time, but we are going to be outside for a little bit. So yeah. Good
Yeah,
question.
the Wellington Mall's got a big glass elevator, a big water fountain, some good fun.
Nice.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Laura also, Jessica said, use a tennis ball. Is she
Tennis ball.
interested in tennis balls?
She recently started chewing. She does like balls. Like she likes there's one that has a little bit like holes in it and she'll put her teeth on it and drag it around. And the tennis ball, she just kind of chews up. But yeah, she is a big fan of, that's what she does. She comes upstairs and she just goes crazy, like playing with the ball by herself, like just rolling it around and
Okay,
just,
well, that's good. So she gets the zoomies all by herself. Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah. Okay,
She may relate with outside of just going potty and then coming back in, and
right,
there's not,
exactly,
there's not more to being outside. So
right,
another dog,
Exactly what it is.
another puppy would definitely
yes,
help her understand.
yep, okay. Cool, we'll make arrangements for that. All right. Other questions?
I have a couple.
Okay.
So,
Hi, Karen.
hi, I'm Karen. So I'm going to be getting a breeder puppy in a few weeks. So I'm starting to try to plan ahead. So I wanted to kind of ask everybody, you know, what to expect the first week. You know, what did you wish you knew? You know, your first 30 days. I'm learning a lot as these questions are getting asked, but and I mean, I've had puppies before, but I didn't know, you know, how different it would be
Right.
in this situation.
So-
So,
Versus an infant,
Yeah, right?
right.
no sleep,
Yes.
Yeah.
can't turn your back.
Yeah. What I wish I knew. Oh boy, that list is long. What I wish I had was this group when I started. Yes.
Mhm.
So I think you can't expect perfection when you get them
Right.
home at 8 weeks. They're still a puppy.
Mhm.
So you just want to spend those first couple of weeks, you know, having them learn their name and getting them used to the crate and getting them used to getting outside, really working on getting that potty training. Are you getting a golden?
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't normally it doesn't take that long. Wasabi's 4 weeks, 12 weeks, but we've had him 4 weeks and he's
Mhm.
getting there. He's getting there.
Mhm.
So
I would say decide on your rules, you know,
Mhm.
where he's gonna eat, where he's gonna sleep, where he's gonna eliminate, where he's gonna whatever, and then be consistent.
yes.
The more you are consistent, the
Yep.
more secure the dog will feel and the faster that he'll learn.
Yep.
If you're not consistent,
Yep.
it gets very confusing for them.
Yep,
And-
excellent points.
Haven't
Yeah.
given a lot of cues to a dog. If you're starting to teach them sit, I know that they don't know the word sit. But If
Mhm.
you say sit, you're training yourself to say sit in a certain way for that behavior. And if you teach yourself all the time, at a certain point, the dog will start to associate that behavior with that sound.
Yeah.
But initially, you need to train yourself.
Yeah. Know
That's
your
good.
basic commands, Karen. I'm
Mhm.
sure you're going to get a manual. So know your basic commands
Mhm.
so that you want a well-behaved dog, even though they're going to be a breeder, you want a well-behaved dog.
Mhm.
You want a
Right.
dog that you can be proud to take out and represent New Horizons. So definitely start with the basics. You know, I mean, right now with Wasabi, we are working on sit, working a little bit on down,
Mhm.
working on weight. That's a big one.
Mhm.
What else, Laura? Oh, yes. Yeah. So I'll play a game in the house with him. My husband will hold him and I'll go into another room and I'll, Wasabi, come. And then
Mhm.
he's looking at me like, what? And
I'm
then
here
he'll come
already.
and try to find me and I'll give him a treat. And that just works really well, especially for our babies.
Mhm.
Just learning how to come to you without giving you a hard time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They
start
have
with
to
good
you all
foundation
the time.
skills.
Anytime the dog comes to you, checks
Mhm.
in, looks at you,
Yes.
reward that.
Reward that.
Mhm.
You know, and if you don't have a treat, a pet, a good word, dogs can read facial expressions. Be
Mhm.
happy.
Yep.
Okay.
And they know what's going on at that point.
A
Mhm.
dog is never too young to start training. So, you know, I mean, we've had some prison pups that were carrying their metal bowls at what, like a couple of weeks after they were in there. You know, the guys, of course, you know, the guys, they drill it all day, every day because they got
Mhm.
nothing else to do. But there's a thing that I give a lot of clients. It's called a collar grab. And, you know, and you don't have to grab the collar, you can just grab the scruff, but just a couple of times, and don't spend long on it. Just do it once or twice throughout the day. Just go up, kind of grab the puppy scruff, stick a real high value treat in its mouth and then walk away. You do that once or twice and that puppy will be paying attention to you.
Mhm.
Now you
What's
got
a
the
high-
dog's focus. So
Right.
the most important thing is you want to get the dog's focus and attention. And then the dog will be following you around the house. And
What
then
do you
Good.
what do you recommend for a high value treat? Because that's, when I've trained puppies for, personal, just, an everyday puppy. I mean, they've always been pretty obedient and stuff. But reading how, the manual and hearing you guys talk, this is a different level. So like for them, it was milk bones or whatever, the little mini milk bones and things like that. But like, how do you decide what's a normal treat versus a good treat versus a high value treat? Like, what do you use?
the dog will let you determine that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Mhm.
much. And
I
now
find steak works well as a high value treat.
with
Pretty much, it's true. No, when I got my Pyrenees, she would not take any kind of a treat from me. She was a rescue. She was a couple years old.
for some, it might be
So
toys.
finally, in desperation, I pulled out the roast beef and I got her attention with that. And after using a lot of variety of meats and tiny pieces, they're not big pieces,
Mhm.
talking little pieces.
Mhm.
She started coming around, paying attention, and now she'll eat anything I hand her from my hand, no matter what it is.
So with a puppy though, you want to be careful so you don't
Mhm.
give it an upset gastric issues. I would try and stick with some kind of a very simple, some kind of a training treat that's simple ingredients and very tasty. One thing that I have always been successful with is I buy the chicken hearts and then I boil them and then I dice them up and they stink and it's nasty, but that's a high value, good
Mhm.
healthy treat that's cheap as hell. Very cheap.
I
Yeah.
usually start out with their regular food, and when I fix their morning bowl of food, take half of it out.
Yep.
And for the next 2 hours, get intensely treated. I give them, half their meal so they're not starving. And then after
Mhm.
that, it's just a lot of treats for no matter what they're doing.
Mhm.
But it's their food, so it doesn't
Yep.
upset them at all. And
Yep.
then after things settle down,
Mhm.
when you move them from one environment to a new environment, that's a lot of stress. And so a lot of new foods at that point can cause some problems. So you want to introduce things slowly. But they will get to a point where they will let you know what is a better treat that they're going to work for more than just,
Mhm.
their regular food.
Gotcha.
If you get good response with kibble, stick with that. But if the puppy doesn't seem too motivated, then
Mhm.
up it a little bit, and then go from there.
Okay. What's pickup day like? What should I
One
be
of the things
prepared
I've done
for?
with kibble is to cut up a couple little pieces of hot dog and then put that in
Mhm.
with the kibble and shake it around a
Oh.
lot. And without changing the food a lot, it gives a good scent to it that they are more interested in.
There's some
Do you
good,
cook the hot dog first or? Sorry.
Potty training is again all about consistency.
Mhm.
The more you
Mhm.
get them out, the more you get her outside, busying outside, the easier it's going to get. So I always feel like if my dog has an accident, that's my fault because I didn't get them out quick enough. Literally, when they stand up, when they wake up from a nap, shortly after they get fed, just as often as possible. And there will be accidents. I mean, that's just part of having a puppy. But and then crating it. So she's going to be a breeder, but I would crate her. Right.
Mhm.
And then she may cry because she's going to be away from her siblings, and I just wouldn't. I would. Somebody recently. We've been suggesting putting a towel over the crate if they're crying, and that's
Mhm.
worked. Also, I have used a fan in the past because our dogs do pant a lot, and the fan also seems up. I don't have a fan on I have enough fans in my room going that I don't have to put a fan on the dog anymore, but I used to have to put a fan directly on the crate because I had a couple of panters, and they just couldn't. And once I put the fan on, they were fine. So that's, if you're finding that the puppy's crying, could be because they're hot, could be,
Mhm.
because they can't see you. I don't know about anybody else, but I have the crate in my room. I know some people have it out in their
Mm-hmm.
living room, so it's different. I just have always had the crate in my room. Excuse me for a second. Hey, leave it. Leave it. Yes, good boy. Watch out.
Give the puppy things to keep busy with
Mhm.
in the
Right.
crate, safe,
Yes.
safe things.
Mhm.
The worst thing you don't want to do is cater to the whining, because the dog will very quickly learn, the squeaky oil gets oiled,
Yep,
or the
Yep.
squeaky wheel gets oiled.
that's right. Yeah, the minute you give into that crying, then
Right.
they're training you. So,
Mhm.
right? Is that true? Yes.
I have Blinker, and she's a breeder dog. She's 4 now, but I remember when I first got her, my kids went to bed at 9 o'clock, so I would put her in her kennel at 9 o'clock at night, and I always had it right next to my room, knowing I didn't go to bed till 10 o'clock. So yeah, she crushed. It was like a toddler. Cried it out for a few minutes and then fell asleep, and then I would go in there and go to bed.
Mhm. Good idea.
And maybe the first night or so, you might get up in the middle of the night if they cry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But after a couple nights, I'd be like, nope. I usually say quiet. I mean, they can make it. I've had puppies who've made it from 10 to about 5 or 6. And, and as they get older, they make it longer, but they can usually make it. If they cry and you get up, then again, you're giving in to them. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
Well,
question.
good stuff.
But yeah, so if you're Karen, I think you just got on our friends page.
Yep.
So that's a great place if you have questions about that new puppy to put those questions. Let's see. Somebody says, so 3 cups a day. Will this change during the duration? That yes, it should. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's 4 months or 5 months where we changed to 2 cups. I can't remember. Have to find out, but yeah, that will change, Jessica. And Basil's super hungry. One day he ate 4. So yeah, sometimes I add in, so I'm adding in water to their, so like, it's like a gravy in it. And yeah, he's eating, well, let's see, Wasabi's eating about between 3 and 4 cups a day. Yeah. Cause I put a heaping scoop in and then I'll fill it with water. And then, yeah. So his little belly gets a little fat right after he eats.
So he's
Yeah,
drinking a ton, like a tremendous amount of water, where I can't keep the bowl down and filled, and he pees nonstop. I mean, it's really excessive.
We've taken the bowl up sometimes to give, because we're inside, you're on tile floor, it's cool. Not that I want to keep him from drinking, but if he's, we're having the same thing with Wasabi. He wants to drink. And so my husband's like, okay, taking up the water. So yeah, and that helps. It does. And I don't take it, like, he doesn't have water at night because he's in his crate. But first thing out of that crate in the morning after he goes out to go pee, he'll go right to the water bowl, drink. I'm like, okay, now we go out. So, but then at some point the water bowl gets taken up.
Okay. Yeah, same here. And I've got Tile and he's on a fan now. He's just like a super intense little dude. And the first 3 weeks have been really rough. I mean, I needed a puppy support group last week. I was like at the end of my rope, but he seems to be doing better now. So
good. Interesting.
But yeah, it's definitely been rough.
So
is Basil a lap or golden?
It's a golden.
A golden.
How is Kermit with him?
Kermit's been great. I mean, thank God for Kermit, because he plays with them and keeps them occupied, and he follows Kermit around. But he's still having that separation anxiety when I leave him. I've been trying to let him cry it out and then try to reinforce him when he is quiet. So I'm kind of setting him up and waiting around the corner or going outside and then quickly coming in with a treat to praise him and stuff like that. But he's been having a ton of accidents and I take him out nonstop. He's ringing the bell, but what's that?
He's having pee accidents.
Yes.
Drinking a lot.
Yeah. And it's like, I take him out and he comes in, I have to take him right back out again. I'll turn around and he's just peeing. Like, it's like it really excessive. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting.
Is it real diluted pee or is it really strong concentrated pee?
It's pretty diluted in the
Okay.
house. Yeah, it's
You'll
not
know
bad.
if it's strong smelling. So he's probably just drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the pooping, he gets really nervous. He isn't really ringing the bell when he has to poop. I can just see that he's getting really nervous. And so I quickly, let him out. So we haven't had a lot of issues with that, but he's very much unsettled and high energy. So
Really, that's so
Mm.
interesting.
yeah, but super smart. He's like, he's sitting down, he touches, he comes when he's called. He's been carrying his bowl around, carrying treats or carrying toys and sticks and stuff like that. He's great on the leash and he's great in the car. So,
Well, there's some pluses.
yeah,
At least he knows to behave when he needs to be, right? In the car.
Right.
yeah, he's great in the car. So.
Yeah. Good. Oh yeah. Yeah. Am I feeding him enough? I give that much, and Humvee is 83 cups a day for a puppy. I give that much, and Humvee is and 83 pounds. So well, Humvee really should be getting a cup. I don't know. I mean, I know he's a lab. What do you think, Libby? She says she's giving him. So we're saying we're feeding 3 cups a day for a puppy. She's giving that to Humvee.
Yeah. Well, last time I saw Humvee, he was big boy. 83 pounds sounds pretty heavy for him.
Yeah. So Laura, I mean, again, I would suggest putting water in his food or giving him no salt green beans. But they do. You're right, Laura. Labs always act like they're starving. So
I started even because he's very treat oriented, and I don't know if I should be doing this, but I wanted to keep training with him, but I don't want him to eat so many treats. So I started using carrots as treats, and he loves them.
yeah,
Yeah, I give my dog.
yeah, use carrots.
Yeah, just be careful. Don't give him a whole lot in one day because carrots do have sugar in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, you can look at him this weekend. I don't know if he's fat, but he's always hungry. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
again,
mean,
you could use
last time
kibble.
I saw him was a while ago. So
Yeah, use his kibble for treats. Hold
Yeah,
back
I
a little
do.
bit of his
I
food and
do.
give that to him. Okay. Yeah, yeah, but labs are always hungry. They make you think they're starving. Yep.
very manipulative. It's
Yeah.
primal. It's primal that they.
Yes.
So you think that the amount I'm giving him is okay?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to see him go up any higher. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't give him any
want to see him
more.
go above that.
How old is Humvee?
He was born in
he's Tank's age.
September.
Yeah, they're what are they, Laura? 18, 19 months?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, well, I'll see you this weekend. You can tell me
Yeah.
if he looks fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tank was 97 when he came out of prison, 97. And he didn't look fat, but he just looked too big.
Okay, you know what? I think Tank was the dog. He's a black lab also.
Yes.
Okay, I think Tank was the dog that I saw in transition. And yes, he was overweight. He was thick.
Yep. So
He
he's
was
gotten, I
What-
started it and then Laura did a little bit and now he's with Sue Napier and she's kind of finishing it up. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's gotten
yeah.
down some. Yeah.
So Laura, yeah, we'll see Saturday. Because I had Humvee and Tank confused there. So
Yeah. Well, he lost weight since he came out of prison. Well, he was kind of chunky when he came out of prison.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll see you this weekend so you can tell me. It
Yeah.
just, I never saw a dog that wants to eat like this dog.
Oh, that's labs. Tank acted like he was starving all the time from puppyhood. Just, who's going to feed me and when are they going to feed me? So yeah, I think that's more a lab thing than a golden thing. So good job on Blinker. Yay, April. That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. It's so much better for them not to be overweight on the green bean diet. Wow. She lost her COVID weight. I'd like to do that. We feed Anchor 1.5 to 2 cups a day and he's 65 pounds. I don't know what Anchor looks like, but that I think 65 to 70 is a great weight for a golden. So
it depends on the size of the dog. You
Yes.
can't just go by the weight. You gotta go.
I know.
Gotta
Yeah,
go by the
feel their-
silhouette chart. That's
feel their ribs, Can you feel the ribs too much? You gotta, that's how I do it.
you want to
Yeah,
be able to feel the ribs, but
Right.
not, and you want a little bit of indent in their loin area. If it's straight and thick through the loin area, that's a few pounds too much.
Yeah, we keep our
Try
dog
and print
inside,
that
and when we first
chart
got
for weight.
Anchor, he looked a little bit big to me. I think he was about 70, and then he lost weight, but he seems like he looks good to me now. But I think that like I kind of err more on the side of slimmer than chunkier.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which, as long as they don't look like they're starving, I mean, that's funny because I see Livy said that Betty Davis must be a lab. She's not. She's a golden. Yeah, Tank would. Well, he wouldn't not only eat my socks, he'd eat the leashes. He liked leather. It was awful. Yeah. Wrangler's like a thyroid patient dog. Wow. Okay, other questions? I don't see any in the chat. Any other questions anybody has? Something you want to share for the good of the group?
I'm, hopefully in the process of getting, I'm going to have some things on paper for Saturday, basic foundation things. I guess maybe whatever, I'll just get everybody's email rather than print out a bunch of paper.
Yes. Yes.
But that's where I would like to go is I want to start rocking and rolling and start doing little video clips for training. This is how it should be. This is how we shape it. Because I'm trying to figure out how I can put leash, this leash thing on paper, and it's hard because it's kind of a hands-on thing. So we'll go over that Saturday as well.
Yes. You're talking about loose leash, Libby?
Yeah, especially for the dog, the puppies, it's different, it's not as challenging. But the dogs that have developed a bad behavior of pulling, I mean, there's some prerequisites, puppies like teaching a dog to respect leash pressure. So as soon as they feel leash pressure on the collar, they should respect that and not keep moving forward. Things like, we want the dog's head to be at our legs, unlike in the obedience ring, their shoulder is with our leg. In service dog, we want them a little back. So if you make a left turn or something, because, in obedience ring, the dog is very focused on you. And in everyday service dog walking, we can't expect the dog to be looking up at us the whole time.
Right.
So anyway, it's the theory of same thing like the way a dog electric fence works. As soon as the dog goes across that fence, guess what? It's corrected. So we want to correct it at when the dog is reached the threshold of our leg, rather than wait till it's 2 feet out and now we're fixing it.
Right.
Things like that, so it's a matter of, go ahead. Just a matter of,
if it was you that suggested, but somebody suggested putting the leash behind your back.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. That's Michael Ellis is kind of, I think, famous for starting that.
Yeah, I started using that with Hess. Hess is real good at loose leash, but he has a tendency to go a little bit in front of me. So I started using that literally behind my back. And I'm holding both sides. I'm holding the part that's close to his head, and I'm holding, the part over here. And we walk, and I'm noticing that he's doing better. He realizes he needs to be back a little bit. So,
and then you can also use your hip to stop. And then, if if you're holding the leash right, they kind of will self-correct themselves because you've stopped, the leash is against your hip, your thigh or whatever. And then they self-correct themselves on that, if you need to really like get their attention.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of, I go to Massage Envy and get a lot of shoulder work because, I kind of, for 3 months, literally this last group, it was all leash work. And, I started with the lure along the fence line and with the leash behind my back, just like what you were saying. Yeah. And I finally got them somewhere where their leash manners are much better, but they're not.
Yeah. We've been talking about that lately, just, how to get that. So we're getting it from little puppy.
It needs to be instilled in the beginning. I mean, it's like smoking for 10 years and then you come to me and guess what? You're quitting now and today, and there are no excuses. I mean, that's what I deal with, you know.
Yep.
Leash manners are the hardest thing to train.
On the evaluation form, it asks for a reach and a head down. And neither of those cues are in my manual. So what is that?
The head down is what Wendy was talking about earlier. Basically, if a dog is laying on the floor, the most typical time, it's basically for a dog to do a complete down on the floor. You know, like if the dog is laying and looking up, you tell them head down, they put their head down on the floor.
Yeah.
That's another good cue to use on, we can use that for on the lap. Reach is if they're doing paws up and you want them to reach to give somebody a credit card, or you want them to reach, like say if they're throwing something in a trash can or in the laundry, you know, reaching is literally they're going to reach, stretch out and reach
So
with,
reach is stretching out their neck
yes,
and their
yeah,
head to get something.
yes, to either
somebody
get it
something.
or give to somebody, or
Now, wouldn't heads down on the floor be different than heads down on your lap?
I mean, you could still use that same cue as, you know, head down, that, you know, they can put it down on their lap. I don't think it would be that confusing. In fact, if I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but I think a few years back, I think we discussed him. I don't know. It might have been discussed. Okay, we're going to use that, but it was never formalized and put in the manual.
Right.
I just know it's on the evaluation form and I hadn't seen it before. So, you know, I've taught dogs head down, but it was on the floor with their head, you know, on the floor.
And that's pretty much the consistently
I
what
don't
we're
see that
using.
as useful as being head in the lap. So,
Well, you could use that same cue and target a different area, you know.
Right.
The best thing is to use the chin rest target and use that. See, using
that I
targets.
haven't seen either. Chin
Yeah,
rest.
I know. Well, the targets I'm trying to get in there with the puppy manual. Targets, there, you know, there are tons of targets that can be put in as foundation skills, and they can be used for training advanced skills.
I've done targeting in general.
Teaching a dog to target something. You can teach a dog to target their back feet, which is an excellent way to teach back, you know, to back. You can teach a dog to target their right shoulder to target their right, you know, so basically you're teaching a dog to target a specific part of their body. So the consistency is, you know, you name that target. Okay. So let's say the shoulder target is their right shoulder. Okay. You teach them to target that shoulder with your left half for perfect healing. You know, you can teach it for several things. If you want to teach them to open a door and you use that shoulder to push the door.
Okay. Are you capturing a behavior to teach that? Or are you luring it?
Yeah, the best way it would be shaping it, if you know how to shape a skill or, you know, target. But yeah, dogs pick up very quickly on targeting. The two most important that I think, you know, is to start with puppy raisers is the hand touch, or the touch. I say the hand touch. It's the touch, and the chin rest. And the chin rest is really good for creating a settled hold. And then you can use it in more advanced skills, you know, like I said.
Do you have them rest the chin on your hand?
Yeah, you use your hand and they rest their chin on the hand, and it just settles their mouth. It settles their whole head, you know.
Yeah. Well, he loves to have his chin and neck scratched. So you hold your hand out, he's going to put his head in there just to do that. All I
Okay,
need
but
is
you want it to
tap
be still.
the
You
tap
don't
too.
want your hand to be active. You hold your hand out, they rest their chin on your hand. And then you eventually wean, you know, you'll wean away the hand. The purpose of it is to start developing a quiet hold. And then eventually they understand you're asking a quiet hold, so then you take away the targeting. God, I'm confusing you guys, aren't I? Yeah.
I got it up to a quiet hold. I know hold, they hold something in their mouth.
Yeah.
But how would that be different from a quiet hold?
Oh, no mouthing. Not mouthing the item.
Okay, well, I thought
Yeah.
that was automatic,
Yeah.
consumed when you were doing hold.
Yeah, but a lot of dogs don't do it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not happening, you know. I'm trying to come up with ways to help get this trained better, you know.
Maybe you could do some demos on Saturday, Libby, and I can.
Yes, I
videotape you.
will.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like you
One of
always
us will
wanna
be
go
there
to
to
a quiet
video you.
hold.
I know.
Why do
You know what though?
holiday?
I don't have any dogs. I guess I'll just use whoever's there. Well,
Yeah, we'll have dogs.
yeah.
We'll have lots of dogs.
Yeah. I'll grab you. I can
We're
bring
We're not coming.
I'll bring Ajax. I'll bring my dog.
Yeah, you can come out here. We got plenty of room. We got 8 acres.
No
We got lots
fair
of room.
bringing a ringer. You gotta use dogs like,
Yeah, and that way it'll show a good example of how to train it with a dog that is doesn't
Right.
understand.
Yes, yes. Libby, will there be somewhere, Nikki was asking about, just somewhere where she could put Basil in a crate? So she can,
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we'll have some empty crates in the small house that you can put. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Because I didn't think I could go since it was like, they're not fully vaccinated. So I was,
No, but if you could crate him, yeah, that's,
okay,
yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of crates if any, you know, for those of
and
you
you'll
that
have,
have more than
you'll
one
have to
dog.
practice being away from you.
Yeah.
And nobody will care if he barks.
Well, the windows are stormproof, so there is no sound coming through those windows.
Oh, good. He needs
If he
that.
barks, we won't hear it.
Perfect.
Cool.
Is it going to be mostly puppies coming or a mixture?
No, I think it's a mix, but I think it's more the older dogs.
Okay.
You know?
Because, you know, on the property, other than going over some of the basic foundation stuff, I was going to throw in some temperament type / competent skills things, like different stations where they go through,
Right.
and you know, and then some rear leg awareness type stations where they're walking up and backing down on planks and things like that.
Right.
So you know, and that shouldn't take long, and then we can go to the mall if you
Yeah.
want.
No, that would be great.
Libby, I think one of the most helpful things would be for you to watch as we're walking the dogs, and maybe we can each just take a turn. And
Yeah.
it's not the dog, it's us. And we need feedback on, yes, you're doing that well. That marker was too late. You're letting, you know, if we could get some feedback that I think might help as much as anything on getting them better walkers,
Okay.
because we'll be better trainers.
Mhm. Yeah. The mall on Saturday, I don't know how busy it would be. You know, I'm trying to think where else we could go that we could do that indoors so that, you know, because the shade over there, the area that's shaded, it's not ideal for walking yet. It's still got a lot of rocks and things like that and roots and stuff. Just come with, you know, bring your hats, sun protection, and
Right.
you know, we can all keep our distance to where we don't have to wear the mask.
Right. Katie, did you have a question?
Yep, I have a quick hold question. So during our final evening walk, we always get the mail and give Garth Brooks a piece of mail. Now that Scout's old enough, we work on hold with, you know, hold the mail and walk it all the way up. Garth has been great from the beginning with that, but now that there's a second dog, he wants to not only hold his, but steal the other piece of mail from the, like, he wants to hold everything, which is a good problem. But like, we separate them. I take one, the husband takes the other. Should we just not have, like, he's fixated on getting all the mail, not just holding his. He doesn't drop anything. What's the best way I can get him to focus on his piece of mail while the other one carries also? Or should I just not have the other one do anything and just focus on Garth?
Yeah, I wouldn't allow that because it could develop into resource guarding.
Yeah.
It could also become, oh, this is play retrieve and not a working retrieve.
Yeah, like we
So-
definitely have stopped it every time. They definitely, this guy's not at risk as of now of any resource guarding. Like he's, like we'll put our hand in his food. Like he's the most docile boy I've ever had. And that's why the male thing is so out of character, that he wants all the male. His tail's wagging, like it's not aggressive, but I'm worried about overcorrecting where male becomes negative, because right now it's the highlight of his day.
Or holding, yeah. Is he like that with retrieving anything else around the other?
So
the lab?
not really. I mean, he picks up everything. Like Give, he's had since he was 10 weeks old. He picks up every Nerf bullet that the neighbor's kids have, every nursery pot that doesn't have a plant in it. He loves to carry and give. So we've kept it very positive. He doesn't run away with anything normally. He's a collector. Like I know I sent in pictures early on because he had a very heavy nesting habit when he was a puppy that he grew out of. But yeah, male, when Scout has a piece of mail, that's the only thing that he's ever been like, this is not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a bit of a resource guarding, because you started it with him and he's
Okay.
now just don't let it happen. And yeah, there is a fine line. You don't want to overcorrect, because then he may start dropping it. And
Yeah.
not wanting to hold. Be careful with, you said he's a collector.
Not anymore. When he grew out of it. We
Okay.
were worried about it at the beginning because he was a nester. But again, no resource guarding. Other dogs in the house could get the things. I sent in pictures to Janet early on because I was worried. But again, he grew out of it by the time he was probably 16 weeks.
Yeah, because I do see several dogs that will just go around the house and just bring things to them, and we don't want that,
Yeah.
Now, so I mean, you could make it a challenge and just have both of them sit, have your husband, each work each dog, but do it together, and
Mhm.
is he retrieving?
No. He will, but he's not enthusiastic as he is about like finding his own thing and then giving it.
Okay.
He hasn't tugged at all. So we have Owen right now, and Owen is very strong on the tug. So we're using that to our advantage right now to try to get him to want to start tugging.
To play tug, start with the play tug. And okay, so if he's not doing a retrieve, I would just try avoid letting it happen.
Mhm.
Him going over and stealing it. It sounds it's kind of a combination of it's play and now this is mine kind of thing, sort of like what dogs do when they're playing and they just take it from each other.
Yeah, like it's definitely, it leans more playful, but we want to make sure that we don't encourage it. So that's why I wanted to nip it in the bud early. But yeah, no, give is great, hold is great. He's never been aggressive with any other dog with food or anything like that. He's so many things. He just doesn't have retrieve and he doesn't have tug, which is so weird to me. So
well, maybe Owen will help him get the tug.
That's what we've been definitely, Owen's like, you guys are obsessed with tug. So
Owen, he'll just volunteer and go.
Okay.
Well, no, I was actually, he was kind of floating around in the house and I was training another dog and asking them to tug. And out of the corner of my eye, he went over and tugged the bathroom door. He just found the tug and closed it. So yeah, he's got a tug, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does. So I want to take full advantage of it. And this guy's going to learn to tug before Owen gets returned. So.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. All right, anybody else? Any other questions, concerns? Oh, it's 8:11, so I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Libby. This is always helpful to hear where other people are, what are other people doing. I look forward to seeing those of you that are able to come on Saturday. And we'll get, let's see, it's almost the end of it. Well, it's April 22nd. Wow. This month has flown by. So we'll get May dates out to you, but yeah, our next in-person is Saturday down with Libby. Yes, we're
How many
excited.
people are spending Friday night? How many, or?
I mean, I know I am, Laura's coming, Megan is coming with Scuba, and I'm not sure who else. I know there are some other people, because when somebody called, all the rooms were taken, so.
Oh, okay.
And we had 10, that's how many rooms we had, so, and I know the lady said if there were other people that called after that, they would, so, they would give them the rate that we had, so anyway, I don't know, we'll find out.
All right,
I
well,
mean, we've had the last couple of in-person trainings, we've had between 25 and 30 dogs.
wow, that's, okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's good. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I don't know who all from down this area will be coming. So, yeah, well, we have a big front yard. We'll just park in the front and.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. I know there's not, is there parking like off of the street? Or do we?
No, the front part of the house
Uh-huh.
it's still dirt, and weeds right now because, we've had a lot of rain.
Right.
Just everybody just come up with this, some system of some decent parking there. And then we'll go in the back of the, on the other side of the fence. to do
Okay,
the Training.
okay,
Yeah, I just want to warn everybody, just be careful of fire ants that might be randomly, because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done down there.
Yeah.
So, but,
okay,
all
all right, super.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, bye, everybody.
Just
Thank
hope
you.
it's good
Thank
weather.
you.
Thank you, Wendy. Take care, guys.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
See you,
everybody.
Libby. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Good luck,
guys.
Karen.